Oh, I can see a few people now.
Hello.
Hi, Zoom user.
Hi.
Can I call you something else, or would you like
Kirsty.
Kirsty? Hi, Kirsty. You all right?
Hello.
Awesome.
I don't know how to use Zoom. That's why it says Zoom user still.
That's all right. It works, doesn't it? That's the job.
I'm just pressing every button.
6 months ago, I never had a clue how to use Zoom. But obviously lockdown happened and I set up these workshops, and it's amazing, you know, because I do like 5 or 6 workshops a week now. It's amazing how quickly you learn how to use something when you've got to do it 5 or 6 times a day.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome in, Kirsty.
Thank you.
Gabriel, hello, mate. Is that you down there? Or is that Mum's name?
No, this is me.
That's you. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We're going to have a little go drawing a zombie today. I hope you're ready for it. So just one thing I didn't say to everybody, you will need a pencil and a Sharpie or a felt tip, something like that, to draw with. Everything I do is with marker pens, usually, but we will put a few little guidelines in with a pencil first. Who else we got? Ethan, how you doing, Ethan? I like your chair, mate.
Hello.
I'm dead jealous of your chair. That is very nice. I was just going to like one of these old.
I got it for gaming because I play on my Xbox all the time.
Yeah. I don't blame you, mate. That's the kind of chair I want, but I've got like this old kind of.
I had a wooden chair. It was very uncomfortable.
Oh, that's not what you want for gaming, is it?
No.
All right, nice one. Thanks for joining, Ethan. Hi, Janice. Is that you, Janice, or is that my name, Janice?
That's Mum.
That's Mum. Hello, mate. How are you? You all right down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, I think everyone's in. It looks like it's just going to be the 5, 6 of us today. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll spotlight my camera. So my feed should become a lot bigger on your screen now. So all you can see is mine. If not, just scroll left or right, or do what you need to do. Click on view and go to speaker view, and then it'll make my screen bigger, because we're going to look at what I'm drawing here, and you need to be able to see what I'm doing. Yeah, by all means, feel free. If you want to turn your camera off at this stage, you can do, because you're just going to be sat in the background kind of copying what I'm doing for the time being. What we'll do is we'll get halfway through. When we're halfway through, camera's on again. Everyone's going to have a little show. We'll see how everyone's doing with their artwork. And then we'll go on to the second half. So we'll knuckle down again, get the second half done. Then right at the end of the session, we'll hold up our pieces for one last time, because art's a team sport, so it's good to see what other people are drawing all the time. And then that'll be it. So it's as easy as that. So let me change my camera. I've got a nice little top-down camera here. It's my mobile phone, so if anybody phones me, we're in trouble. But let me change my camera. There we go. That's what we're going to have a go at drawing today. Hope you're up for that. It should be... it won't take us any longer than an hour. Promise, it won't take us any longer than an hour. One thing I will do is there's only a few of us in the room today, so it's quite easy, but if it gets noisy, I will mute everybody, but for the time being, I'm just going to leave it as it is, because it's a nice quiet room today. If you want to get in touch, though, if you want to say, Korp, you're going a bit too fast, or Korp, shut up and do some more drawing because you're going too slow, then by all means, unmute yourself, have a little chat, or at the bottom of your screen, where's the bottom? At the bottom of your screen, somewhere down here, you'll see a participants button. You can click on that participants button, and it opens up loads more buttons of go slower, go faster, stuff like that. So if you don't want to interrupt, but you still want to communicate with me, that's a good way of doing it. So that's what we're going to have a go at drawing. So let's get on with it, shall we? Grab yourself a clean sheet of A4 paper, or whatever you're going to be drawing on today, and your pencil. There we go. So grab your pencil, and we're going to draw a few outlines first to get us going. With the first one is a circle at the top. That's the main part of the skull. So make sure you leave a little bit of space either side, because we're going to throw some ears in there in a little while. See how it's positioned as well, quite close to the top. So that's something you need to pay attention to as well. Down underneath, we're going to draw a line that goes from this side of the circle to this side of the circle, but it's going to be a little bit like a bucket, but with a curved bottom. So coming down like that, curved bottom, and then back up to that side. And you see how it's kind of just tapered in a little bit, so it looks like a bucket. That big gap there is where we're going to put the mouth. So it's important to have that fairly big. Two more curves for the mouth to help us with the mouth. One going like that. See the shape of that curve, how it's starting, goes up and then down. just touching that top circle, and then one at the bottom as well, like that. Just got somebody else coming in, so I'll just give them a few seconds to get in, and then we'll do. Let's put the chin in whilst we're waiting for them. So down here, we're just going to put a circle. It's just going to over. Hey, Ruben, how are you doing, mate?
Sorry, I had a bit of problems with logging in. Sorry.
No worries, mate. No worries. You're okay catching up, aren't you? We're only doing our pencil lines for the time being.
Okay.
There you go, Ruben. That's what we're going to be drawing today, something like
Okay.
that. All right. I'll leave you to crack on with it to catch up. Right, so everybody else, we've got that big circle. We've got the bucket. We've got the two curves for the mouth. We've got a circle for the chin. 3 more lines, and then we'll start doing some inking in. So the first 2 lines are the eyes. So in the middle here, I want to leave like a finger width gap in the middle, and then put the 2 eyes either side. Kind of in the bottom half of that circle. Go big, maybe do 1 big, 1 small. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as we've got a little bit of space in the head, because we're going to put some stitches in that head. So draw a line across the top of the head. Right, how are we doing? Has everybody got those pencil lines there? Apart from Ruben, who joined us a little bit late, he's probably still furiously drawing his in. But if you've got those in, let's go and grab a Sharpie. So I use these twin tip Sharpies, because one of the techniques I use to draw is I use the fat end to do all the outlines and all the main parts. Then I use the thin end to go in with some details afterwards. If you haven't got that, you'll be able to get away with just using the fat end of the Sharpie. It will still work. Alternatively, if you haven't got a twin tip Sharpie, then that's the combination I use. It's like a fine liner pen and the fat Sharpie pen. Okay,
Can you hold on 1 second? I need to just quite quickly get my fine liner.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Ethan. He's going to go and grab his fine liner. I will be able to zoom in a little bit as well. So if you can't see what I'm doing, if you're using a small device, just let me know and I'll be able to zoom in a little bit so you can get a much closer look at what we're drawing. Always amazes me how much I can zoom in.
Korp, I haven't finished my pencil lines yet. Do you think you could just zoom it out a little bit?
Sorry, mate. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Okay, we're going to work in the eyes first. Hopefully Ethan will be back in a few seconds and won't lose out on too much. First thing we're going to do with the eyes is a big kind of sausage eyebrow. Now it's important the position of this line. It's kind of going to be a let's do this side first. We're going to start off with a C shape, the letter C, and then it's going to curl across the eye, and then it's going to just end up on the outside of the eye this side. So let me show you what I mean. C shape like that. Then it's going to go across the eye and just end up outside, flicking down on the outside of the eye shape there. Can you see that all right?
Yeah, I'm back. So I got my fine liner.
Yeah. Excellent stuff, mate. I just started that line. So when you get a chance, just have a little go at that line. It's like a C shape. See how it just overlaps that part of the circle there, part of the eye. So it starts off with a C shape, then it goes all the way across the eye, and then it flicks down just on the outside of the eye on the side there. And one of the techniques I use a lot is I double line everything. And when I say I double line, it doesn't mean make everything twice as thick. What it means is we make everything twice as wonky. So what we'll usually do is just go over that line again and turn it into a bit of a wonky line. Now, if you can draw perfectly smooth lines all the time, then brilliant. Yeah, you go and draw perfectly smooth lines all the time, but I can't. So one of the things I like to do is to make sure all my lines are purposefully wonky. And so you can see from the original artwork, none of those lines are smooth. They've all got thick bits and thin bits. See how thick it is there compared to how thin it is a little bit further down. How thin it is there and how thick it is there. That's going to be a frequent thing. I'm going to be asking you to double line everything quite a lot. Now we've done that line, let's see if we can repeat it over the other side. Now we want to do this C shape backwards, and we want to see if we can touch that bit. See how we did that? So it's a C shape over that inside part of the eye. And then you go across the eye until you're outside. And then when you're outside, you just give it a little flick down. Just going to zoom in a little bit so you can have a proper look at what we're doing in there. Okay, eyebrows done. Let's go and do the eyeballs next. So down this bottom bit, this curve, that's the bit we want to focus on. Just go around that. Don't forget to double line it. Make it a wonky line. Same on both sides. Doesn't matter if it's not a perfect circle. If it looks more like a 50p piece or a hexagon, that's okay as well. That's the beauty of drawing a zombie. It doesn't matter if we make some mistakes in here. It looks like we've done it on purpose. Another thing I'll say to you, as well as double lining everything, is intersections. Intersections are where two lines join like that, like in a T shape. So you see just there, we've got an intersection where this eyeball line joins into the eyebrow. So in those bits, always make those just a little tiny bit thicker. We're only talking about a fraction thicker, but it just makes those joins nice and strong, holds your artwork together a lot better. Okay, let's do another. Let's do the simple. We'll do the simple wrinkles first, which are the ones that are going to go around the edge of the eye here. So you see how we've got this little kind of line poking out this side here. We're going to do the same on the inside. Just have a couple of lines coming out from the corner of the eye. And all we're doing is we're creating like a little wrinkle for a bottom eyelid. So now what we can do is just go round that, almost joining those two up. Now imagine that's a line going from there to there, all the way around there, but just leave a little bit of a gap and then join in round the eye. And then as you get closer, leave a gap again. So we've got that wrinkle going under. See how thin and tapered the ends are? So they're really thin at the end. And then you go over that, double line it, make it a little bit thicker in the middle. So we've got a nice little shadow. Let's do the same on both sides, or something similar on both sides. And we've got ourselves some wrinkles. Now in there, in between those wrinkles, you can put like a couple of dots. Just joining bits up. See how we've got those little dots in there, just so it kind of suggests there's a bit of a crease in there. It's not a full-on crease, but just a bit of an indentation. Okay, let's quickly whip some eyelids in. Ready for eyelids? So down the bottom here, let's do two curves. Up the top, let's do two curves. Now pupils, we're going to do the pupils next. That is somewhere where you can add your own style of pupils, whatever you want to put in there, whether you want to put a cross, a dot with a bit of a sparkle in it. It's totally up to you what you want to do. Go really elaborate with the pupils. Leave them blank. It's a zombie so leaving them blank is absolutely fine as well. I'm kind of liking at the moment a little circle with another circle inside it in the top corner, and then colouring the rest in black, but then having them pointing in different directions. So we've got a bit of crazy eye action going on.
I was wondering about using my, like, you know how that I have my original, like, hypnotized eyes?
Yeah, that would look good.
I have done those in zombies and they look really nice, but I thought I've done them in like pretty much all of my zombies. So I thought, well, I'll change it around. So I've done some hashtags in my eyes today. I did that on my bear and it actually looks really nice.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. If you do that, and then when we get to half time, we'll have a little look, see how it's worked out for you. Okay. Okay. Let's do a little bit more around the top of the eyebrows, and then we're going to work on the head. So I'm just going to bring, you see the top of the eyebrows there, I'm just going to bring these lines a little bit further out. That way and that way. We're just kind of following the shape of the head, the shape of the top of the eye there. a little bit. So I'm just bringing them a little bit further out, making them a little bit bigger. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave a little gap. So you see where that line's going. You see the trajectory of that line, where it's heading. It's heading over here somewhere. We're going to leave a little gap, and then we're going to touch down again and just go around the side of the eye like that. Don't forget, you can afford to be wonky. Don't try and do it smooth. Try and do it wonky. Same on the other side. So imagine that there's a line going across there. So you're just touching down about there. Okay, we're going to go and work in the head now. Got some big stitches going on in the head. So you see where we've got this pencil line across there? What we're going to do is just draw some, I don't know, what are these, like capsule shapes? Don't want to call them stitches, because even though that's what they are, it doesn't help to call them stitches. But some like tall, skinny O's. They need to go across that pencil line. It's important that they go across that pencil line. Change the length of them. So make some of them long, some of them short, and then try and change the angle of them as well. Keep it random. I've done all 4 of mine quite equally distanced, which was a bit of a mistake. So try and keep it a bit more random than I've done there.
Are these like the same stitches on like we did in like Frankenstein and stuff?
Yes. Yeah, the first Frankenstein picture that we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to come down here. We're going to add some cheekbones in, because the cheekbones will just give us somewhere to launch the rest of the head from. So down here, just around the bottom of the eyes, is the position that we're going for. We're going to add in a little cheekbone, which is that kind of a shape. You see, I've done one a bit higher than the other. That wasn't intentional. That was an accident, but that'll work. So once we've got those cheekbones in, like I said, the rest of the head kind of falls into place from there. So this next line is going to go from behind the cheekbone. So when I say behind the cheekbone, it's going to start from about that point. We're going to use that pencil line there as a guide going into the stitches. We're going to use that as a guide, but we're not going to hit that exactly. We want to make it a little bit more wobblier, like that. Any old wobbles in there will do. Don't forget to double line it. Don't forget that strong intersection where it joins the cheekbone. Let's try and do something similar on the other side. So coming out from the stitches, then a wobbly line, using that pencil line as a guide, then ending up behind that cheekbone. Once you've done that, we can go and fill in the lines in between the stitches. Now remember to go behind the stitches, don't go straight through the stitches. I've seen so many people do that in the past. Make sure you leave those stitches so they're over the front, and then we can just go and do those lines. Now we're going to make it look like we've got a proper fold of skin at the top of the head there. So on both sides, we're just going to come out from there and do a little curve round and go back. Coming out from there, little curve round and going back. Once you've done that, we can go over the top of the head. So starting back here, go over the top of the head. Again, using the pencil line as a guide, but not hitting it exactly. Unless you like it, unless you've drawn a wonky pencil line that looks perfect, then by all means follow that. But I'm just going to do a wonky line, double line it again. Okay, let's add a little tiny little bits of detail. So the end of these stitches, with the fat end of your Sharpie, I just want you to go round like that and just put a little black bit on the end of the stitch, the top and the bottom. Little black circle, just kind of hanging off the top and the bottom there. One more line, then we're going to have a little look, see how everyone's getting on, because we're about that halfway stage. Right in the middle, we're going to do a little frown line, little V shape. So starting over this side, little V shape, and then coming back out that side. Double line it, make sure it's nice and thick in the middle, the line's thick in the middle, and then just sort of tapered off nice and thin at the ends. You can stick a couple of these. If you've got a big head in there, you can stick a couple of these in if you want. But there we go. That's where you should be at right now. Something similar to that. So we've got the top part of the head done. So when you're ready, go into on your screen, click on View, click on Gallery View, and then let's have a little look, see how everyone's getting on. So this is halfway stage. So hold up your artwork. I believe art's a team sport, and so we're all just trying to draw the same kind of thing. So this is where we just look at everybody else's artwork. We find out the bits that we like about what everybody else has done. We're trying to utilize those bits without copying them exactly, but we utilize what other people have drawn and start putting that into our own as well. How are we doing? So Elsa, looking great. Excellent stuff. Our Gabriel's on the iPad. Is that Procreate? Very nice. It's coming out good, mate. I love what you've done with the pupils there as well. Kirsty, that's looking good. Again, nice what you've done with the pupils. Something different. That's pretty good. Awesome stuff. Janice, excellent. I love the shape of the head. It's really got a wide head there. Nice work. Ruben, you've caught her brilliantly. I love the big eye, one big fat eye and one little tiny eye.
Yeah, so here are the hashtags as the pupils. Very subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
Also, Korp.
Nice. Yeah, mate.
Did you say that there was one between like 7 and 8? Another one today?
There is. Yeah. I'm doing another workshop. Sorry, Ethan, I'll come back to you in a second. I'm doing another workshop at 6 o'clock, mate.
Oh,
but you've got to go to New Urban Era for that one. Ethan, yeah, mate, that's looking good. You happy with that? Yeah?
Yeah, sort of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Judge it when it's finished. I think it looks ace, mate. It's nice. It's nice. We're going to add loads more detail in there, so we'll see what it looks like when it's finished. But really good progress so far. So, like a second half, what we're going to do is going to work on that mouth. We've got loads of detail going on in the mouth. Look at that, loads going on in the mouth there. So we're going to spend a few minutes on that. We're going to counter that by doing a real simple, easy nose, and then we'll chuck in some ears, and then we'll get the fine liner out and do loads of details. So when you're ready, click back onto view and back onto speaker view. So my screen becomes a lot bigger for you guys. I'll change my camera so you don't have to look at me. There we go. We're back. So let's go and do that mouth next. Right then, fat end of your Sharpie, that's what we're going to need first. Are you ready? Think wonky lines as well. You know, we did these two curves across there. We want to go over those, but we're going to do wonky lines. Now, the line at the top, the ends need to curve down slightly. Like that. See how the ends just curve down just slightly. Go over that line twice, make it wonky. Down the bottom here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a wonky line over that curve, except this time the ends need to just curve up slightly. I went really wrong there, look. Never mind. And then the sides. It's going to add the sides in there. We're just going to come inside of these curves a little bit as we join this up. So only slightly. You just want to see a little tiny overlap sticking out the side there. Then join those lines up. Now don't forget, you don't want a completely straight line. You want it to be a little bit wobbly. Don't forget those strong intersections. So at the top of the mouth and the bottom of the mouth where the lines are joining up, you want to make those a little tiny bit thicker as well. Okay, up top, let's put some teeth in. We're going to draw 4 teeth, all with gaps across there. I'm going to start with the 2 in the middle. Something like that will do. Now don't forget, these are zombie teeth. They've been dead for a while, so wonky's good, chipped is good, nothing straight. Go over those lines again, make it a bit wonky. Once we've got those 2 front teeth in, let's put 2 more around the side here. So nice and rough with those teeth. Once we get to the outside, this time we're now going to start drawing the teeth behind these 2 teeth at the side. So whereas we had gaps before, this time we're not going to have gaps. We're just going to draw it behind. So it's going to come out like that and across. Keep on drawing teeth until you get to the edge of the mouth. See how it's touching the edge of the mouth there? If you have to do 2 or 3 teeth, by all means do 2 or 3. But keep on doing it until you get right to the edge of the mouth there. Now let's go right into the mouth and put some teeth going further back into the mouth. So underneath these ends here, we're going to put 1 big tooth like that and a smaller one like that. And that is just to make it look like we've got that round set of teeth and we can see right inside the mouth. Okay, let's draw the gums. Gums are a lot of fun. I'll show you how to do it on this tooth, and then we're going to repeat it for all of those teeth across there. So what we're going to do right at the top here at the side is just do a little line that kind of flicks out either side. Flicks out either side. Like that. If you do all of those, they look like little ghosts with antlers. Not sure that's the best way to describe them, but that's what they look like to me.
Korp,
Yeah, mate?
when you said let's go in and draw the gums, my brother then decided to play a theme tune, which was like the angels singing. It was like,
Yeah.
"Ah!" And it was as if like the gums were like a big thing to you because the way that he just managed to get it at exactly the right time.
Good for him, yeah. I like that. We need more sound effects on this workshop, don't we? I will look at that. I'll see if I can get one of those little boards where I just press a button and it gives me a round of applause or something like that. Let's go and do the rest of the gums in. So you see in between these, just at the bottom there, we're just going to draw some upwards curves like that. Just to finish off those gums. We'll make things a little bit easier for ourselves down the bottom here. So we're going to add the teeth in, but they're going to come straight off the bottom lip. Straight off the bottom lip, no gaps as well. And we're just going to work our way to the side. So what I mean by that is we're going to draw some bits in like that until we get to the edge of the mouth. We work our way to the side, and then we work our way up a little bit. So the same way as we put these teeth going back into the mouth, we're just going to put some more down there and down there. And like I said, don't worry about these teeth looking wonky. It's a zombie. If your teeth look too wonky, it's okay. I've just got to turn Alexa down. She's starting to talk to me now. Right. Let's go put tongue in. 1, 2, 3 lines for the tongue. Everybody ready for the tongue? We're going to start over here. We're going to have a curl that kind of ends up roughly in the middle of the mouth. So if you want, I can draw all 3 lines first. In fact, I'll pencil out all 3 lines, and you can just see what I mean by this. So the first line is a curve. It's going to go into the center of the mouth like that. The second line is going to start a bit further back. It's going to go all the way around like an S shape and end up almost touching this back line here. So it's going to go all the way around and almost touch that back line. And then the last bit is that little bit in there. Okay. So should we have another go at that? So be brave. Go straight in with your Sharpie pen. Nice big curve going into the middle of the mouth. Double line it, strong intersection down there behind the tooth. Now this next one is the make or break curve. We're going to start up here, so a bit further up on the tongue. We're going to go all the way around that end point, all the way around it, and then finish off with a downwards curve just before we reach the end there. So all the way around that end point, and then down just there. Then we'll finish off little line going across there just to finish off that tongue. And then one more little line just right in the middle there. Just coming down like that. That's just the underside of that tongue, just to give that underside a little bit more shape and direction.
This is a bit like the lickety split tongue, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Just a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
All the rest of the mouth, we can go and colour that in black, all that background bit. So leave the tongue, leave the teeth. All the rest is black.
Are we doing the whole mouth then?
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, mate.
Just not the teeth.
Yeah, not the teeth, not the tongue. All that background bit. I mean, this is your zombie, so if you want to try something different, if you want to draw some like tonsils in the back, if you've got space for tonsils, by all means do that. If you want to draw something else in the mouth, some other creatures, totally up to you. See, this is where the rest of us are going to take a bit of time colouring in, but Gabriel's going to be in there like just pressing a button, filling that whole mouth in with black just with one click. Yeah. There we go. Now don't forget, we're going to come back to that mouth a little bit later and add loads of extra details that are really going to make it look a lot more gruesome. But that is pretty good for now. Let's just quickly put a bottom lip in. Whilst we're down here, in this section here, we're just going to add a little kind of curve. Little line across there. See how it's nice and thick in the middle, tapered at the end, so it comes off at a really thin point at the end. You might just want to flick the pen when you get to the end just to make it a real fine point if you can. So we've got that bottom lip in. Let's put some little lines down the sides as well. Look at the amount of space we've got left for the nose. You can see that's why I was keeping the nose simple, because we've got no space in there at all. Before we move up to the nose, though, let's throw that chin in. So remember, we did this little circle down the bottom for the chin. That's going to be a bit of a guideline for where we're going to go round. And we want to put the chin kind of sticking out a little bit. So we're going to go round like that. Make sure these lines, the end of these lines, go inside the face. Double line it. Now down here at the bottom, because this is the chin and the jawline, right at the bottom of the character, you can go quite thick with your lines here, because this is where all the shadows live. So if you need to go thicker with your lines, you can do. Still keep them with a tapered end, so nice and thin at the end, but you can go quite strong, quite thick down the bottom there. Okay, let's finish this bit off with a couple of lines coming from behind the cheekbones, all the way down, using that pencil line as a guide, and then ending up behind the chin bone. Don't follow the pencil line perfectly, though. Give it a bit of a wonky look to it. Now, don't think about those wonky lines too much. Just throw them in. It's amazing how good it will look when we're finished. Now, like I said, we're going to keep it a really simple nose. We're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines for the nose. All of this bit is going to be filled out really nicely. Are we ready for the nose? First bit is a U shape. So stick a U shape right in the middle there, hanging quite low. In fact, you can leave it like that. I quite like that as a nose. If you wanted to leave it like that, you can do. But I'm going to stick in a few nostrils. So that's line number 1. Lines number 2 and 3 are a couple of nostrils. Like that. Now, don't forget, when we double line those nostrils, the bottom part of that line needs to be a little bit thicker than the top part, because that's where the shadows live. Something like that. So there's 3 lines to do our nose. 2 more lines just to finish that off. What we're going to do is we're going to do some lines from the top of the nostrils, stretching all the way out and going around the side of the mouth, and then just a little flick down towards the side here. So it's not going to touch anything over here. It's going to end up in thin air, but it's going to start from the top of the nostril and then just flick down like that. You want to go back on yourself a little bit, and where it joins up with the nostril, make that line a little bit thicker, because that's a big old crease in there, so you'd expect that to be a little bit darker. So have a little go at that line for me, and then do the same on the other side. Same on the other side, so top of the nostril, all the way to the side, around the mouth, then a little flick down. Looking pretty gruesome, yeah?
I think mine looks quite realistic, to be honest.
Who said that? Was that you, Ethan?
Yeah.
Realistic as in like human-like, or like the last zombie that you saw?
A bit more kind of, I don't know, it's just a bit more, I don't know, really squashed together, I guess, as well.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I'm glad it's coming together then, mate. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go and throw in some ears. So again, with the ears, it's just 1, 2, 3 lines for each ear. We'll keep it nice and simple. Now, don't forget, you want a wonky line for the ear. We're going to use the cheekbones as a starting point. And we're going to do the outside of the ear first. So maybe go for a big bit, then a little bit down there. Double line it. Draw it quite quick. Don't think about it too much. Just practice drawing quite quick. Big bit at the top, small bit at the bottom. That's all you need to remember. We're going to do both sides at the same time because these ears are so easy. So again, coming out of the corner of the cheekbone, just there. Big bit, a small bit. Double line it. So you want a wonky line around there. You want these intersections. So where the ear joins in with behind the head, you can see how thick that part of the line is on both sides. These intersections are always a little bit thicker just to hold everything together. So that's the first line for an ear. The second line for an ear is creating that kind of like inner ridge around the top. And all we're going to do is create like a little tube going around the top. So that top line there, we're going to take that top line, copy and paste it inside the ear like this. Nice and tapered, thin, towards the end there. Same on the other side, so taking that top curve, mirroring that top curve, copy, paste it, make it a bit smaller maybe. Flick down on the end there, so you want that line to be nice and thin, just there, but where it joins in with the head, that's the bit you can afford to be quite thick with. Little tiny line coming in here now, inside the ear. Something like that will be all right. So one of the ways I like to finish off my artwork, so we're just going to do a couple more bits with the Sharpie to finish off with the fat end of the Sharpie, is to put a little box around it. So you can see how I've done that with the original one, put this little box around behind the character. So let's have a little go at doing that. Now, if you want to, you can probably draw out a box with your pencil first. I'm going to try and go straight in with it. So I know roughly where I want this box to be. It's going to be behind the character. About there. Make it quite a thick line that we're using as well. And for me, that just kind of frames it a little bit, helps it kind of brings it a little bit of balance, makes it fit the page quite nicely. And then let's put a little street art crown in at the top. I love putting little street art crowns in everything I draw. Nothing too neat, just throw a little crown in there. And then when you're ready, grab your fine line pen. So either the thin pen on your twin tip Sharpie, the thin end, sorry, on your twin tip Sharpie, or a fine line pen. I'm using a 0.4 on this one. If you've not got either of those, then maybe just a light touch with your Sharpie pen will still get you the same results. So I use 4 symbols. We're going to use 4 symbols to add some details to this character. O's, U's, hashtags, quote marks. First one is O's. So let's go in and we're going to throw some O's or circles all over our character. So let's do some that are coloured in first. So around here, around the eyes, let's put some little freckles in. Nice and random. Put some little freckles around the eyes. If you want to put a couple of little freckles around the head as well, little blood spots or something. Just find a handful of places to put some spots in. I'm going to put some on the ear as well over here. So you see how we're just kind of throwing in all those spots all over the place. So that's the O's sorted. Let's go and do some U's next. So U's look great in two places. One is on the face, they're going to look like sweat or drippy skin. On the tongue, it's going to look like taste buds. So let's go and put some U's on the tongue first. To use on the tongue, and then the same way as we did with those circles where we just threw them, scattered them in all over the place, we're going to do the same with a load of U's all over this head. So with the U's, let's make them quite tall and quite long, like that. Again, don't think about it too much, just throw them in. Put a couple across the head. So that's O's and U's. Next is hashtags. Find a little place to put a hashtag in, just somewhere around the edges there. A little hashtag there. Maybe put one up on the top of the head as well. Little hashtag so it looks like it's got a bit more beaten up. And then quote marks. Let's go and throw 5 sets of quote marks. Now, when I say quote marks, I just mean like 2 little lines together. So again, don't think about it. Just find a space, chuck in some quote marks. Can be anywhere. All we're doing is creating little tiny imperfections, little dents in the head here. Right, let's go and work up in the head now. In the stitches, we're going to add a little tiny bit of detail to these stitches to make them look like these are like shoelace holes almost. So you remember those little black dots that we did at the end of the stitches? We're going to draw around those. Like that. Now make sure there's breaks in that line as we draw around it. See how now that really looks like it's been sewn together now? We're going to start moving faster and faster now. This is where we start having a little bit more fun with our character, just throwing in all these extra little details. Let's go and put some lines in. Let's make these eyebrows. We're going to add a bit of a curve to these eyebrows. And the way we do that is by adding, with our fine liner, little curves like that. See how these little lines just make all the difference? Now it just makes it look like the eyebrows are a little bit rounder. Let's move a bit further down. Let's go into the eyelids. I want to make those eyelids look dark. So I'm just going to turn mine sideways for a few seconds. And in those eyelids, we're just going to put some lines all the way across. Nice and quick. Doesn't matter if all these lines overlap each other. It's a zombie, so it's meant to have messy skin. Little tiny bits of detail in the eyes there. Same way as we did with these eyebrows, we added these curves. Let's go and do some on the ears as well. Moving a bit further down this top lip bit. Let's go and put some hair in that top lip. So all we're going to do for hair is just loads of little tiny dashes. Randomize them like sprinkles. They're all going in different directions. whilst we're doing hair, let's put some hair on this character. Just throw it in on the edges there. A couple of little hairs sticking out every now and then. Have a couple of hairs coming out the ear. Almost there. So let's finish off the character by adding a couple of places where the skin's kind of been taken off, a couple of patches. So anywhere on your character where you think, actually, that's a little bit too plain, a little bit too boring in there, let's go and draw a shape, any old kind of like potato-y shape, like that. Get right in. We're going to draw a shape like that, and then we're just going to draw lines going down. And it's just going to look like it's had a bit of skin taken away from it. So find a bit of space, add a couple of those shapes in there. I'm going to put one on the chin, actually. Looking good, right? Last couple of bits. And so what I now like to do is I find the outside of this character. The character looks nice and finished, handsome. Let's put some of these bits on the outside of the character as well. So I like to just mix it up a little bit by adding a couple of little spots. Almost like ink splatter. Just to finish off the outside. And you know what? I think we are just about done there. Oh yeah, one last thing I always like to add in, Ruben will know about this one, is I like to add in a little fly. So I'm going to put in a little tiny fly just there.
Darn it, I thought you wouldn't do it on this one because it looked like you were too late, so I added one in, but...
Oh, excellent. Yeah, you know the rules, mate. Let's always put a little fly in. So easy to draw, but they just make our character look like it smells, which I love. There we go. I think that is just about done. Last thing, what do we do at the end there, Ruben?
Sign it.
If you like what you've done, sign it.
Put your name on it. If you don't like what you've done, put somebody else's name on it.
Exactly. If you like what you've done, put your name on it. If you don't, put somebody else's name on it. It's as easy as that. So give it a signature, and we'll have one.
That stands for Doodle Master Korp because Aaron and Kieran called you that the other week. It's probably not the other week now. It's more like the other month, but
it probably was a while ago. Was it them that called me that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, DMK Doodle Master Corp. That is me. So when you're ready, put yourself into gallery view, and we'll have a little look, see how everyone's getting on, because we've got. I've got a gig at 6 o'clock, so we need to be quick with this bit. So there we go. That's what I created. Let's have a little look, see how everyone else is doing. Kirsty, that looks amazing. That's really good. Excellent stuff. Love it. Nice one. Janice, let's have a look at yours. Wow. Look at that mouth. Awesome work, Janice. Well done. Ethan? Yeah, mate. I can see what you mean. That is looking really nasty. That's fantastic. Nice work, Ethan. Ruben, I'll come to you in a second, mate. Gabrielle, let's have a little look at yours. That's come out really different to everyone else. This is what I love about this kind of stuff. We're all drawing the same thing, but everyone has a little slight different twist on it. And yours, Gabrielle, has come out really different to everybody else's. I really like that. I think it's the slightly smaller eyes, bigger ears. That's what's made it different, but excellent work. Love that. Elsa, that's nice and clean. I love the way that's positioned in the middle of the pad. That's looking really good. Yeah, handsome one, that is. Ruben, let's have a look. Oh, you've got a bit of colour in there as well, Ruben.
Yeah, I did anything which was pink. I put pink in there just to make it a little bit.
Do you know what? That's all it needs, just one accent colour, and it looks an absolute treat. And you've done the speech bubble as well, something we do quite a lot in Doodle Club. So, yeah, that's it.
I also did your name with the fly trail somewhere.
Did you? Oh, nice touch. Brilliant stuff. Right, excellent stuff. Thank you very much for joining in, everybody. Really enjoyed that. Don't forget, if you want to join the Korp Academy permanently, there's packages from £10 a month up to £25 a month where we do this kind of stuff and Posca stuff as well. So you can join in with all of those classes for £25 a month. But I'll probably do a free one every month or so, just once or twice a year, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining in, everybody. And if you've got any questions, feel free to email me or message me, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.